get my slippers up so I can get my curlies up.
You what?
My curlies.
Ew, don't do that on me or near me. That's disgusting. I hate feet.
Suck it up, big
See
man.
people that can do that with it. Your feet stink.
They do not.
Yeah, they do. I can fucking smell them.
Must be the slippers. Because they're clean on me this morning. Must be yours, actually.
It's that I'm in shoes, so
That doesn't help.
fucking does. You cunt bag.
So,
Nah.
hello and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Celluloid Misfits. Presents another audio-visual commentary. This time it is Angel Terminators, starring Cara Hoy and Sharon Yeung Pan, Kenneth Chang, Yeung. My goodness. This is a fantastic 1990 fantastic Girls with Gun title, as is its sequel, which is they're unrelated.
Okay.
So you can watch this as a standalone movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt we needed to watch this one first because it is just as good.
Okay.
It's quite different than part 2,
Okay.
but brutal.
Ooh.
So let's go. We are watching actually watching a fan-made DVD version of it, which has been released as the wide sight DVD. Kicking around on eBay, so if you get the chance, check it out. It's not great quality, it's video quality.
Yeah, it looks it already.
But it still makes for an entertaining film.
Flam?
So here we go. I'm going to push play. Hi.
Okay, you do that.
Bam. Here we go. I'm excited. Angel Terminators.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I did put in my review for both of these movies. Drop that down a wee notch. A wee smidge. Both of these movies were released recently on Blu-ray by the French label Spectrum Film.
Oh.
But without English subtitles. Which is very, 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 very unfortunate.
French are so greedy.
Because they are releasing spectacular titles from Hong Kong at the moment.
Wow.
And I am fucking livid because there's no English subtitles on there.
Yeah.
It annoys me to no end.
That would annoy me.
But I'm very tempted to get them, possibly.
I always find, sorry, she's singing this song. I always find that,
This is Carrie.
yeah, she, whenever you read the lyrics to the song that's in a foreign language, they're
Yes.
so odd.
They are. Because
Very-
we're still trying to imagine them being sung in English and they don't rhyme or they don't make sense.
No, exactly.
Yeah. So it never comes across
No.
properly.
It's that cultural thing. So to them, it's probably this beautiful
Oh yes.
ballad about love.
Kind
Whereas
of-
whenever we're reading the literal translation, it's like, huh?
Well, there's just
Your lover
crying.
cries
See?
in silence and heartache as.
Well, this one is relatable because Kenneth Chang, who we saw there, is a big gang boss. This is his favourite hostess and singer of this nightclub, who he really doesn't treat with any respect at all, although claims to be madly in love with her. But that typical slap your woman about kind of man. So this is Alan Choi. So she's taken a bit of abuse from him, but is under his control.
Okay.
And she will make her escape. And then the movie will jump a few years for us here. The guy in the white shirt on the left is Alan Choi, who is a massive Taiwanese Hong Kong martial arts star and choreographer.
Mm-hmm.
Not of this movie, but he would more be known for appearing in a lot of early Taiwanese kung fu movies and things.
Okay.
And Kenneth Chang you would recognise and would be more internationally known as Chaibot, the bad guy of Police Story 3 Super Cop.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And in A Better Tomorrow as the taxi depot owner and whatnot. Carrie Yeung, I'm trying to think what you would have seen her in Naked Killer.
Yeah.
You would have seen her in Naked Killer. So here we have this Alan Choi on the right. In the other car that's following or going to be passing is the police, which is in the back on the left. You have Cara Hoy from Shaw Brothers, nicknamed Auntie by Eastern Heroes.
Right, yes,
And then on the
Auntie.
right, you have Sharon Yeung
Right.
who I absolutely adore.
Sharon Young.
Sharon Yeung who, again, I think we watched her in something recently. And I talked about her retiring probably far too soon as an action actress, and now she's producing a lot of stuff.
We talked about that in our
It was the podcast for Women in Action, yes. So again, straight away into the action. There's no holding back. Things are wild as they are in 90s Hong Kong cinema.
Yeah. Do love a good wild action film, me. Oh, fuck, Jesus.
They love just destroying things, don't they?
I love it, though. It's my favourite pastime. I'm surprised much of Hong Kong is still standing.
I know, right?
The amount of times that.
But you'll notice as well, the more you watch, the more you find these kind of scenes will take place in barren wasteland and tunnels that aren't used or roads that are abandoned.
Yeah. They actually have abandoned roads over there?
Well, it would be, yeah, like more country roads that aren't kind of used as much.
Whoever that DP was needs fired.
Yes.
Because he pulled away
They
far too
just
quickly. And rectified it there. But
I mean, a movie like this was probably shot over the course of 3 or 4 weeks. But when you see what's involved, the first time I saw this, I felt by the halfway mark that I'd already watched a full feature. There was so much going on.
Really?
Yeah. So Cara really only appears here at the beginning, and then comes back for the end, sort of last 30 minutes, and she's heading on a trip to Scotland. Which is quite random, but...
And don't date any Caucasians. Why not?
They're not Prince Charles, you know.
Oh, aren't we lucky?
Aren't we? Isn't Cara lucky?
Isn't Cara, fuck's sake. Imagine.
But there's a certain on-screen toughness with Sharon Yeung that I love. I just think, especially the likes of this, Angel Enforcers, which I adore, Princess Madam with Moon Lee. She's got this kick-ass attitude, and again, one of the...
Her hair's wild though.
Oh yeah. But both of them were obviously kung fu stars from the 70s through the 80s. With
And
Shaw
still
Brothers,
look like they've just stepped
they look
right off.
They look amazing though.
You know, stepped right out of high school.
Yeah, and even
right.
today, with Cara still in the movies today, she still looks great. She looks.
It's like
fabulous.
She Kui, she never ages.
No.
She always looks exactly the same.
Yeah. I think if I had been in Hong Kong in these days and saw, because there was so much of this going on, of guerrilla shooting.
Did you shut your pants?
You would. And it was something when we were there, I was looking out for, is there going to, be this random chase down the street? Because you would find, especially in this era, in the 80s and 90s of Hong Kong movies, everyone in the streets just watching what's going on.
Yeah.
They're all stood
And you
around.
said, like, I remember when we watched, what was the really weird, fucked up movie that we watched?
Where do we start?
Ebola Syndrome.
Ebola Syndrome,
And you were
yes.
saying, like, them running down the streets and all, like, the actual reactions from the people
Yeah,
on the street
they're
was
real.
totally genuine because they were like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, absolutely. And do you know...
God, they love putting children in peril in Hong
There's
Kong,
no,
don't they?
again, women and children. There's no holding back.
Oh my Gemini cricket, they've just shot the teacher. Fuck me, Pink.
Bam. So this mother wants to get her medication to the son who's obviously very ill.
He's just like shot the teacher. Love,
Yeah.
do you really want to go in there?
But I love how these two women, who were on their way to the airport, just are standing around quite casual, giving their orders. But
She's like, I'm not got a flight to make. I wonder how they... It's so terrifying pointing guns at kids.
I know, because you just wonder, really, what did they explain to them?
I wonder. Oh my god, it's so
It really is. Like, there's no holding back. I still have to show you Fatal Termination with Moon Lee. What they do to a child in it, it is
What's
scary.
that one called?
Fatal Termination.
Oh yes, yeah.
Told you about that one, but that's just shocking. So yes, so she's going to pretend to be the mother.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
That child's probably having a real seizure. No one Asian cinema, they probably were like, let's get a couple of strokes in.
Let's get a real...
And endorse a seizure.
Epileptic child.
And whatever, yeah.
Again, I don't think what we're getting here in frame is what director Wilet wanted to give us. This is why I would like to see the French Blu-ray releases. I think there's going to be a lot more on offer. I mean, obviously there'll be a 1080 picture quality, which we're not enjoying now, but I think also we're going to get it in widescreen and we're going to see so much more. But yeah, again, this is just them. They're on the way to the airport, remember? So they're just pulled by a situation and they're going to join in.
Wow. Oh, nice.
As if it's just an everyday kind of occurrence for them.
Yeah. It would be, though, wouldn't it?
There's like no hassle.
Yeah, done.
This is what I love about these movies.
Well, there's 10 men standing outside. It took 2 women.
Right.
30 seconds to take them down.
Would you see that in Hollywood?
Nah.
Not a chance. And they're all, okay, thanks, bye.
Yeah, thanks for help. Bon voyage.
But this is what I was talking about in the podcast, about how, like, blasé they are about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, if you're a cop, you're a cop. If you're a woman, you're a woman, but you're still going to do your job.
Yeah.
So this is, I talked about earlier, he was in the nightclub with Carrie. Whenever they were leaving for the airport in the car, you saw Carrie in a wee kimono. So he's been away for 7 years.
Right.
Hiding in Thailand. Carrie, who we saw crying at the air hostess, I think now I see it, she was crying because he was going. She knew she was getting away with it. In that time, she's married. She's actually married to the brother of Cara Hoy, who just left. Yeung Pan has just driven past the biggest criminal, who's now returned to Hong Kong, but she didn't see him. And he's now got this new gang of fighters with him, who is Michiko Nishiwaki, the bad girl from Outlaw Brothers, which we watched last week. And in the background, getting into the car, you had Bruce Fontaine and Mark Houghton, who also appeared in Outlaw Brothers. Yeah. Again, same era of when these guys were working all the movies in Hong Kong. Were always the guilos to go to, the bad guys to bring in. So we have had that 7-year jump. There we go. Oh. So many changes. Ken is a fantastic actor as well. Do you remember him in A Better Tomorrow? He owned the taxi depot where Tila and stuff would go. Yes, and he came back in the second and actually became part of their team for the big shootout.
Can't remember at all.
Well, we'll be doing that soon. We'll be doing A Better Tomorrow soon because we need to get the audio commentary wrapped for that. But yes, a fantastic actor, and became known worldwide because of his role as Shaibot against Jackie Chan and Michelle Yeoh in Super Cup. But yeah, very good actor, brilliant actor, but also a very good villain. There's Shum Wai. So Shum Wai, again, another very, very popular face from hundreds of Hong Kong movies. He is now, since Chang has been away, Shum Wai has taken over as like this triad leader, as the big boss.
Right.
And Kenneth now wants his land back. Wants his turf back, sorry. Looks like a very open location for a drug deal, doesn't it? There's nothing sexy about the camera work or anything. No. There's nothing special about Angel Terminators in terms of how it was shot. The the director, while it had only directed a handful of things, but he was more known as an actor. So he would be an actor from like the 70s. That's Mark Houghton there, and there's Bruce Fontaine, Machiko. I mean, what a great time to be part of. Right, see this fight is like, if this is the one I'm thinking of, it leads to some crazy shit. This is like something you'd expect to see at the end of a movie. And there's a lot of wild stuff. But just while the director would have been an actor in the likes of Gold Connection, with Bruce Lee for Gold Dig films, Queen's High with Cynthia Cann, and tons of others. So director-wise, he was never considered an amazing director.
At this stage,
stage. I mean, it's a straightforward action flick, martial arts action flick, and he does the job.
You don't need your action films to be,
class.
Outrageously spectacular.
No.
The grittiness of an action film sometimes makes an action film so much better. Whenever something's far too polished as an action film, especially, it becomes nonsensical.
Well, I think it's something we've got used to with Hollywood today.
Nice neck.
Very polished look.
Yeah, but it carries that. It carries with it this real kind of sense of, it's very. What's the word I'm looking for?
Well,
very.
This
unrealistic,
for me is,
they come across as being very unnaturalistic, very unrealistic. The massive explosions, the huge car stunts, all of that. It's not something. I mean, if someone went out into a car and decided to chase down a train, the reality is, in the real world, you're not going to fucking make it.
No.
And if you do, you're very, very lucky. The great thing about 70s, 80s, 90s Asian action films, and even, you're starting to see that Hollywood
there's
influence
Hollywood
coming in the likes of Wolf Warrior and Wolf Warrior 2 and stuff, where
definitely
the action gets bigger.
From about 2010 onwards, there's been that change in pace.
But this kind of era has a real grittiness and realism that even Hollywood films didn't have. We were used to in the West seeing films at this stage like Die Hard, Lethal Weapon. They were very polished action films.
Yeah.
And action films in America were not the most popular or bankable films really until the 80s.
Yeah, that was true actually, yeah.
Because in the 80s you were getting Predator, you were getting
the
Commando.
Late 80s
and then the introduction of Seagal and Van Damme, who did the more grounded versions, but still had while they had an element of realism about them, they still had a kind of grandiose and almost
I even recently I watched which was a B movie and straight to video, Back in Action with Billy Blanks and Roddy Piper, which I love.
Roddy McGranda,
and it was it was still a lot of fun, but it was very big and it was very polished compared to what the Hong Kong action movies were of the same era. But I still would go back to this far quicker.
This is the kind of film that I would go back to. If I given the opportunity to sit and enjoy and watch something, rather than have to analyze it and critique it in any way, shape or form, just enjoy it. I'd probably go back to something like this quicker now, as much as I love big action blockbusters.
Yes.
These are still, there's a grittiness about them that makes them.
Well, there's directors today in Hong Kong who are trying to recreate this and they can't get it because there's not.
But even whenever that influence started making its way over into the West, whenever Van Damme first started and Seagal first started in the likes of Bloodsport, Kickboxer, and Seagal was doing Nico and things, they were very martial arts heavy, and they didn't kind of bring in a heavy action element, guns and explosions. Right, They kept it very martial arts influence.
Well.
And then as time went on, gradually we've seen these bigger action films like Under Siege and then Double Team and Double Impact coming in, and taking on that Hollywood formula or that Hollywood take of what an action movie needs to be nice.
Yes.
So this here, It keeps the level of violence to a realistic and quite brutal level, which you would
totally.
expect within the world of crime. You
Yeah,
know, when you watch a crime documentary, you don't see crime being done like it's done in a Hollywood action film. You know, it's grisly, it's nasty, it's savage,
and
it's severe.
That's what works for these.
Yeah, it absolutely does. It's what makes them compelling and all that more, have that bigger impact on you.
Oh, definitely. And again, this was an era from obviously John Woo's crime, heroic bloodshed and crime thrillers were really had launched from the late 80s.
I mean, those films definitely, when you look at the likes of what John Woo was doing with Better Tomorrow, Hard Boiled, The Killer, which was around all this time, they were much more spectacular because of the wire work
and much bigger budgeted.
Yeah,
in compared to this.
Yeah,
I mean, this is considered a low budget action movie from that time in Hong Kong, but they jam so much in.
They do, but it's funny. You watch a low budget film from the West at this time, it looks painfully low budget,
ridiculously so.
And people may look at this and be like, "Oh, it's shit because the sets aren't elaborate or whatever." This looks like a police station. I mean, I've been in facilities like this with jobs and stuff where the rooms, whenever I went in for, you know, the rehabilitation of young offenders getting out of prison, this is the kind of room that you would have sat in, you know, to do, you know, to write out your plan of how you were going to come out. So for me, this looks very organic and very real. Like this is where they would actually live and work. You know, not a computer screen in sight.
No,
you know,
it's far too early for that.
I know it is, but not a computer screen, not you know, a big, you know, murder board up on the wall or anything like that. There, it's all very pencil, table. Get it? We'll talk. We'll get out. This room's only being used for what it needs to be. It's purposeful, and no more.
Yeah, no, it does. It works. And again, this is an era of Hong Kong cinema that what made me fall in love with it. You know, yes, it had the more polished productions of Jackie Chan and all, which were a massive influence and helped. But when I started getting my hands on the likes of this or the In the Line of Duty movies or Tiger Cage and so on, and even some of the Godfrey Ho modern action movies, I was hooked. Yeah, absolutely.
And their storylines are consistent with what's really going on in the world. You know, maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe this kind of thing didn't really happen. You know, maybe it is kind of sensationalized a little bit for the screen. But it doesn't feel like, you know, like a Hollywood film that would sensationalize a drug bust or a gang of car thieves like they did with Italian Job or something like that. You know, it's all seems very realistic. Like you would probably catch this on Police Interceptors, you know, when you catch, you know what I mean? Could you imagine? I swear to God, if I was sitting watching Police Interceptors and a female cop came out and started fucking kicking ass like that, I'd be like, hell.
Would it be amazing?
I'd be like, when can I join? When can I join?
But that I said this as well, funny enough, in the podcast, is that the attraction for me for the Hong Kong movie world as opposed to the West was that women and men, you'd see would see gangs of plainclothes policemen running down the street and women running down the street, whereas in America it's all these uniformed male cops that are saving the day. You know?
Yes. And you even find that in procedurals now, it gradually changed as time went on from the early 90s. You think back to the earliest Law and Order, it was a predominantly male-driven procedural show. As it kind of got to series 3, 4, they started progressively introducing female detectives. You know, just
as opposed to, rather than being assistants or lab assistants or something.
Absolutely, you know, that they were really changing how, even within the likes of robberies and the homicide division, special victims unit, cold case unit, it was a very diverse. I fell down an
I wouldn't
escalator.
Want to fall down an
escalator. Very painful. Because of those little spikes. Do you know what I mean?
The grips, they cut into you. See, Kenny and I went through a lot of these areas and malls, and there's levels. I mean, they go way underground.
Oh yeah. It's
fantastic. So this is Kara's husband. Sorry, Kara's brother, and his wife is Yeung, who So this is the connection. After Kenneth left 7 years ago, she married Cara Hoy's brother, who's a policeman.
Just actually looking at their machetes, I polished mine yesterday.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure you did.
Just because it was a bit rusty. It was. It needed to.
Your actual machete? It's not a euphemism?
No, it's definitely not a euphemism for anything. I actually polished my real machete and sharpened it. That's good. Just in case.
We will call you Blade from now on.
Yeah. It's protection.
Yes. You do live in a very rough place, I suppose.
Oh, fuck. Hell yeah. You never know what's going to come along that road.
In the background, you have a wee bit of an audience watching.
But like you would in real life.
Yeah.
The inquisitive observer, what did he say?
He says to her, she says, oh, don't die. He's like, at least you'll get out of your 7-year itch early or something like that,
yeah. Making a joke out of it.
This is fun. Dun, dun, dun.
Are these the two that have just killed her brother?
No.
Oh.
These are just random. This is just a wee random
fight moment.
Action moment. So this is one of... I wonder, is this the girl I'm thinking of? This one of Kenneth's new... No, it's not. Forget about it. I thought there was an extra girl that came back with Kenneth Chang from Thailand. But it's not her.
My glass.
Cheng Yeung Man, I think she is, and she'll appear in a lot of. Yeah, here we are. Shit, this is a great fight scene. Sorry, I love it. You can remember I said to you, she's very underrated.
Whoa, yeah.
Like when people talk about the female action stars of Hong Kong cinema, rarely will they mention Sharon Yeung Pan, which drives me insane because for me she's one of the toughest and best fighters.
You will find that in every genre with every actor. There's always superb performers, action stars, martial artists that will not get the same. It's even the same in boxing, there's always an underdog,
well, no, for me,
and their fan bases always tend to be much stronger because they're so committed to making people aware of who they are, and that's probably what's happened with Sharon Yeung Pan, with real hardcore martial arts film lovers like yourself. She, as you say, it would bother you that people don't mention her because these like casual people,
because Michelle Yeoh is still going strong, and the likes.
But moving into things that are more kind of generally accessible for audiences, whereas Sharon Yeung Pan, kind of stuck with this kind of thing and never kind of graduated into.
I mean, there is she did star in a range of Kung Fu titles from the 70s into the early 80s before moving into modern action, such as Story of the Drunken Master, Duel of Seven Tigers, and so on. Kung Fu Master named Drunk Cat, things like that. So she has made an impression on old school fans.
Yes.
And then when she came into this era and became this kind of lady cop, she still always had an impactful performance, and that was the thing. But people would still go, oh, Moon Lee, but it's also Yeung Pan's movie. Oh, but Moon Lee, and then so there's always that element of kind of brushing her aside because there may have been a bigger name star next to her.
Yes,
where she's
or someone that has a more commercial look to them. That's I think what. Looking at Sharon Yeung Pan, she's quite. And this is no disrespect to the woman whatsoever. She is a very ordinary looking woman.
Yeah.
Moon Lee was a dancer. She has a very balletic, athletic, and cute quality to her. Same with Cara Hoy, the likes of Yukari Oshima. Have a kind of presence that Sharon doesn't radiate. As powerful as she is as a martial artist and as good as she might be as an actress, she does lack a kind of real commercial sensibility that makes her more accessible. That could be the problem. We see with our eyes, and not only does that make her a superb fighter, and we can see that, but we're also not like, oh my god, look how amazing she looks, just in her regular scenes.
Yeah, I think
that is a common
if she
problem.
had a stronger, I think honestly, if there was a stronger producer and director behind her when she came into the modern era,
or stylist,
it would have been amazing. Yeah, well, yes.
Yeah.
I always think she looks great. She always has this
because she looks like a real woman.
Yeah, she has a real kind of cool but rough look about her.
And that's certainly incredibly appealing to people who like this kind of film. You know, it's nice to not have a supermodel being your action hero, you know, and that was something that Hollywood became very, very representative of when they started bringing in the likes of Trisha Helfer for Battlestar Galactica, Natasha Henstridge in Species and Maximum Risk and Ghosts of Mars. And they were bringing in models to be, you know, these kind of stars.
Pretty girls.
Yeah. And yes, in the films that we've seen and that I've seen so far, you know, Yukari Oshima, very beautiful woman. Really, really amazing screen presence. Minley, beautiful woman when she's done up.
But
great comic presence.
They did get bigger productions in some respect, you know. Obviously Michelle Yeoh's, the majority of hers were so high grade and polished.
They really are.
That's what helped launch her as to what everyone refers to as the queen of Hong Kong, of martial arts action cinema. But again, you know, I think if the likes of Spectrum, for example, who've done this in part 2 on Blu-ray and continue to release other Yeung Pan movies and whatnot, you know, maybe she'll get a bit of a resurge in
quite
possibly
fandom. What they need to do is, what all distributors I think need to do is, you know, to realise that the likes of what Germany and Italy have done with their releases and their excellent Blu-ray digibooks and stuff like that, there is they know that they're not only catering for their own market but for an international market, so they add in the things that they know will help to sell on an international level. Whereas the French, I hate to say it because it's true, they are catering very much to their own people, which makes it completely inaccessible for the likes of us to get it. I remember whenever Brian De Palma's Femme Fatale came out, I was actually in Paris at the time.
Oh, really?
And went to a Virgin Megastores and was going to get it, but there was no English.
Strange, isn't it?
Yeah, it was just completely dubbed in French.
Huh.
Yeah. And it was very odd, you know. And it's a De Palma. No, it's not De Palma's best known film.
Yes, but still, you'd think being an English-speaking movie, they would have that option.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, Yeung Pan here plays a role that could very much be a guy.
Yeah.
Without saying that she's in a man's role. That could just be a regular male cop.
Yeah, it's a character that kind of transcends gender.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Obviously,
kind of like Ripley.
Yeah, really.
You know, whenever they first wrote Ripley, it was for a man. You know, and they just happened to come across Sigourney, and she fit the role perfectly. You know, and I think having that ambiguous name and whatever, and an ambiguous role like that helps you to cast whoever you want within the role. You know, when it works. And as you say, this role kind of does transcend that kind of gender normality of, like, should it be a man or should it be a woman? It doesn't really matter in this instance.
Exactly.
It just happens to be.
You could, that's the thing. You could theoretically remake it and just put anybody in any position, any role. The other thing I do love about these kind of movies, and again more so from this era, is that all the cops would just dress casually.
Yes,
you had your street patrols and all that kind of thing, and you have your uniform cops kicking around, but when it came down to the action and the nitty-gritty stuff, they all looked, you know, you saw one of the cops there was in double denim. But, you know,
so like for the 90s, if ever there was one.
That, you know, and they would have fingerless gloves on, and they would just look fantastic. Like she's got her driving gloves on, you know. But yeah, totally different. But you would, again, something you just would not see in a Western police or crime thriller. You wouldn't see that. You wouldn't see as many plainclothes cops. Usually, when you do see police out of their uniform, they all look like, you know, like FBI style. They're in suits, so they've got long coats on. Very Western, very American. Whereas these guys just dress how
because
you please.
the Western culture kind of leads to this kind of the
Steve.
escapism quality, right? You know, that it can't be too realistic, or then it becomes and people complain about it. Oh, it's too real. It's too real.
Yes.
You know.
This is the big action scene. Now we're only at the 30-minute mark or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I'll double check where we are with this mark. Yeah.
33 minutes.
33 minutes.
Jesus wept.
He did indeed. There's still an hour to go, and this is the action scene I thought was coming up earlier that would be at the end of most action movies. Some painful stunt work coming up as well. And lots of running. Mm-hmm. This is a massive shootout.
Yeah, it really is. Already.
So again,
flammable liquids.
Yeah.
I like to say. And if I got to a shootout and there was not one canister of flammable liquid, I'd be like,
wouldn't you?
Can we stop for 1 second? Someone get me a can of kerosene just so I can shoot it. Yeah. And I would certainly never stand next to it either, as guns are firing at me.
Well, one thing I said I would never do when watching these movies, Hong Kong movies from this era, is wear white socks with a suit and black shoes. But they all tend to do it.
It was a thing, wasn't it?
It was a thing
back then. I used to wear white socks in my school uniform.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
And you got shouted at for it too.
Yeah.
But it was rebellious.
But it's like the thing you see when there's an action scene and the gangsters are run the way, all you see is these white ankles.
Yeah.
This is a great showpiece for Yeung Pan, particularly this action scene.
The lighting's fantastic. I
love
and
again, imagine in Blu-ray.
Reds and blues, yeah.
On Blu-ray, sorry, it'll look stunning. And I do love this film and part 2, and I'm really tempted to get the French release just to be able to watch it as it should have been.
There's always an incredible sense of utilization within the films that are shot in Hong Kong in terms of sets, lighting, everything. You know, it's fantastic. Wow, come on. Amazing.
Way.
Clearly attached to a wire, but you know, that's fine.
No, it's totally real.
I'm sure. Nice flip. Oh.
So the action actually is directed by Jackie Chan Xiaolong. Jackie Chan Xiaolong, who was an action director and a kung fu actor, and most famously, and I have one of his better kung fu films there as an actor called Of Cooks and Kung Fu, very Jackie Chan Drunken Master style.
Nice.
Isn't that? Oh, it's very fun. But yes, he looks after the action here. So, and I've seen like a few of his things, like Fearless Dragons, Aces Go Places 97, which isn't really worth talking about, to be honest. But
nice.
Not a fight choreographer who got a lot of major credit, but when he did it like he would go pretty extreme with it.
Yeah.
So Steve and Mark, you would have recognized they're from Outlaw Brothers. They were at the end Battle of Outlaw Brothers. But this is what I mean. This whole big end scene, 30-minute scene, is what you would expect from the end of a movie.
Yeah.
Explosions, gunplay, martial arts. And everyone gets in on it. So they're not just focusing on Yeung Pan.
Yeah, no,
Alan Choi's character. Lovely. Oh, sheesh.
Ooh, that's a broken neck.
It looked like it, didn't it?
Yeah. Or at least a spur.
Look at her move.
Trap nerve. I mean, she's an incredible showcase for her abilities.
Like, there's rarely, and this is her homage to Michelle Yeoh in Yes,
now, could that be done for real?
Also, Michelle Yeoh did it through the glass banister.
Oh, yes, of course.
In Police Assassins. Or Police Assassins 2, or Yes, Madam, or wherever you want to... whatever you know it by. Great mover.
Yeah,
I'm not even too sure who this is.
Wonderful wonderful movers, you know.
But this, I mean, there's a massive, obviously, and well known, a massive lack of safety here.
Yeah.
And she's not
But it adds to that, you know.
Totally.
It certainly adds to the danger, you know, levels of what's going on.
You would not see a
and
Hollywood
again,
production would not put their actors and actresses in this position.
Yeah, with no safeties. Yeah. And this is what I'm saying. I mean, look at this here. It's incredible, you know, and they're using every space, every frame, every weapon, you know, that they can get. It's nothing is wasted.
Nope.
And it's like, it's great to see, you know, an entire space being utilised in such a fantastic way. Breaking bottles, you know.
Random bottles at the top of a tower.
I mean, that was probably their next day's drinking for work, and they're going to get in and find half their fucking, you know...
It's gone.
You know, their yard is blown to smithereens.
But you see also what they're doing there with Machiko, even though she was still, at this stage, she was huge.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
nice.
She's kept in the background though.
Yeah.
Watch. Whoa! Fucking Jesus! What a stunt! Loved it.
And that's actually his real dead body.
When I yeah, I know, right? This is his last movie by Alan Choi. When I first saw that, I had to wind that back. It was an incredible stunt. And again, nothing that could be faked.
Yeah.
You know, you saw how his body just twisted hitting the digger. Wow. Like, such a powerful, powerful moment.
Great scene.
Would you have done something like that?
No, I don't think I'd have fallen onto a tractor, and then I would have definitely jumped off the building into the
sand pit.
Yeah,
such,
but not onto a tractor
taking
first.
That, wow, like the twist and the hit.
Ugh.
Yeah, so now, obviously Alan Choi was the right-hand man to Kenneth Chang. Now he's out of the picture. She will get, as what I was saying earlier, was she's been in the background for the most part so far, and she'll now get a bit of an upgrade now. So she will. Are we here just in the worst area for planes, air traffic?
I know.
Cars.
I thought there was
motorbikes.
No travel.
Yeah, right. Oh, there goes her little finger.
She just yanked her middle finger.
She cut her baby finger. It's a Yakuza thing to do. With a wee sign of respect for failing. Take it off. So interestingly enough, you know, we toyed with watching this or Avenging Quartet or, you know,
Trio,
even Princess Madam or something. And Machiko was actually in all of those. So at this period of time, she was a very popular villainess and actress for a lot of the female fighting movies, you know. But you know, this is, again, this came out at a time when so many Girls with Guns movies were coming out, and while some of them had the bigger budgets and bigger stars behind them, this probably would have been more considered a B movie in some respect. A
brilliant movie.
Yeah.
B for brilliant.
B for brilliant. And, you know, with the bigger ones, the likes of Cynthia Rothrock or Michelle Yeoh's stuff getting picked up for UK release on VHS or international release on VHS, things like this would have vanished, you know, because there were so many coming.
Yeah.
And they were just dishing them out.
But it's, you know, it's the hope of doing these audiovisual commentaries that kind of brings an awareness and kind of intrigue and interest to the smaller films like this here. Especially this particular genre, you know, femme fatale Girls with Guns. You know, it's a genre that I love. You know,
and it's just not there today. There's not, you know, again, you'll get the odd one coming out of Hong Kong or China, trying to kind of like reignite this era, but they tend to use, from what I've got and witnessed, pretty girls, and it's a very Hollywood approach to it now. They just don't have real fighters or a real grittiness as what we're watching now.
Well, I have to say, I'd be smashing down Selena Jade's door to get her in a film. I love her so much. Now, she's a beautiful woman, but at least she can move.
She can move, and again, I must show you Legendary Assassin with her and Wu Jing. She does amazing in it. There's some fantastic action from her in that. But as you've been watching her in Arrow.
Arrow, yeah, Shadow,
recently,
yeah.
And
she's had some great moments in it, not many, but
no,
the
that's
moments
the thing.
that she gets are good.
She doesn't have a lot to do, unfortunately, but it was still nice to see her pop up in it. It was quite a surprise, actually. So, Carrie, who, has starred in, obviously her more internationally renowned role would have been Naked Killer against Ching Mi-yu, but she also would star in the likes of Mission of Justice with Moon Lee and Yukari Oshima, Evil Instinct, and a host of other stuff, some category 3 movies and whatnot.
Is that because she was quite comfortable at being...
Oh, she was always a bit of a... always a bit of a sexy kind of actress that would have been okay to drop a sleeve or something here and there, you know. But that was all down, I suppose, to Naked Killer really highlighted that fact, that that was a cracker film.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not too sure. I do believe she's come back out. I don't know if she retired completely, but I know recently there's been a bit of movement from her, so I don't know if she's going to get back into full-time acting, whether it's television or features, but she's always good to see on screen. I recently actually got Evil Instinct, which was kind of like a twisted Hong Kong version of Basic Instinct in some respect, to the point of where the police have her in a room sitting on a chair in the middle of the room, and she says, "Oh, this is interesting. What movie did you get this from?"
Oh,
so there's very, very much a tongue-in-cheek thing about it.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, Wong Jing wasn't behind it, but usually that Wong Jing, if you see Wong Jing's name behind it, it's going to reference or take the piss of things like that.
Yeah.
It was a bizarre movie. Evil Instinct. Very bizarre. I actually couldn't even start to describe. I don't even mean that in the positive sense. I just couldn't even describe what kind of... what I watched. But, so sometimes you would see her in fighting roles, and again, having the right choreographer behind her would make her look good. I suppose in terms of being a mover, she'd be very much like Sybil, who from a lot of Moon Lee movies and My Lucky Stars and whatnot. That if you're directed properly, you're going to look amazing.
Yeah. It's not necessarily that you have the right skills. You just can be directed to look like you've got.
He cracks me up. Such an overactor. Kwok Chung as well. Oh.
There's a lot of briefcases flying about in this film.
I love it. And anytime I would write an action scene in one of the scripts, I like to kind of have something that gets thrown around.
Oh, what the... Jeez, oh!
Yeah, he's like, fuck it.
Yeah, he's like, nah, it's not worth it. Do I need broken ribs right now? No.
Steve, he's a very popular Guilo fighter of this era, and a lot of fun to watch. Also appeared in a lot of Godfrey Ho movies. I think he was Catman, which was kind of like a really cheap martial arts
superhero
rip-off of Batman in some way. I think he was Catman. I think. But yes, a lot of fun and a bit wild. I think he's American. But a really good mover, Again, this is something that's raw.
That is the largest pole I've ever seen in my life.
Very much so. And again, I told you about Conan Lee's lamppost stunt in Tiger and the Bee 2, where he jumps and tries to catch the horizontal bit and slips, and jeez, and they caught it all on camera. It's just out in the street, quite casual. Let's kick the shit out of somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's something that just was. We were visiting Hong Kong on a quieter season when none of that thing was going on, but we unfortunately didn't get to experience any random street action. Obviously due to filming, but I was looking around every corner. Really was. Kind of that's what angers me for not going out sooner, not going out there in the 90s and really trying to experience it. Take yourself off. So yes, obviously Kenneth Chang has come back into her life after seeing her at a party, and wants her back, regardless if she's married or not.
Yeah.
He needs a shave, doesn't he?
It's the ugliest fucking beer I've ever seen in my life.
It's so patchy.
It really is. It's awful looking.
See, these kind of shots.
If I walked into a finance company and that's what was sitting on the other side of the desk, I'd be like, oh, sorry, wrong place.
Yeah, well, a finance company.
I know, right?
Yeah, these kind of shots always intrigued me because I thought this is something that was done in somebody's living room.
Yeah.
Or, to that respect, somebody's just spare room.
Look at her, she's beautiful, isn't she? Like, really.
Yeah, Carrie is. Very much so. Oh, hello.
She does, thinking about it now, she kind of does have this almost actual femme fatale quality about her. The look, that kind of Catherine Trammell Basic Instinct look
she does,
about
actually.
her.
Yeah.
That would work quite well in that kind of role.
Again, someone that just never really hit the wall. Well,
yeah,
apart
her
from
name
her
is in a
roles
lot of films, It's not that she's not well known within
no, but
this
people wouldn't
circuit
really
of films.
bring her up instantly if you said maybe, some of your favourite actresses from Hong Kong. But she is very good. I mean, does this look like a living room? The bar slots on the...
Looks like my living room. Does it fuck?
With a bar as well.
I mean, those are the dreams.
Yeah. And are apartments this big in Hong Kong? No.
Oh my god, in Japan they're tiny as frig.
Well, yeah, but in Hong Kong you should see, like when we were walking down the streets, the size of people's windows, the width of people's windows was the width of the room.
Of their whole home.
Crazy looking. So we managed to even look in a few, But I loved when we turned down the streets where you'd see all the laundry.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Venice as well. They do that quite a bit.
Yeah. That's quite an Italian thing, isn't it? That laundry kind of from building to building to building. And
yeah.
I suppose if you live in that kind of Japan, that would be quite common and kind of not so much
just
in Tokyo,
small,
but like
space, it's a space thing, isn't it?
If you live high and close together, kind of having those wires, it's quite a common thing.
Just make sure you pull in the right line when you're collecting your clothes.
I know, right? Exactly. End up with someone else's bra. So what's the purpose of what's going on now?
He's threatening, if she doesn't come back to him, he's threatening her husband, basically. So she wants to try and settle that.
Okay.
And is without
Is there cohesion to the story, or is it all kind of like
No, there is, and for the most part it really just falls on him, and what he wants. So it's his crime dealings and it's her.
Okay.
The rest of what's going on, obviously there was the fight in the quarry area that was his men, but there's other wee moments throughout that are just little side action pieces that don't really relate. But yes, it's mainly based on Kenneth and his basically him returning to Hong Kong as the crime lord and taking over his dealings again.
Taking over operations.
Yeah, and he's quite, well, you'll see as it comes along, quite brutal. But yes, she doesn't want her husband to know that she is dealing with him in trying to sort something out. And then obviously, it, in a cliched fashion, gets out of hand, quite a random me.
It's such a fucking waste of a
Isn't
cigarette.
it?
I hate in films when people do that. It's so common to watch films where they take like 2 draws of a cigarette and then
chuck
throw it down. And I'm like, are you kidding me? If you can afford to do that with your cigarettes, great.
It's part of the budget.
But give it to someone that really actually needs it, like myself. Do you know what I mean? That really bothers me. Or people that smoke and don't inhale in a film, you know, where they go...
Yeah, other than
and it's like,
the
don't do it
non-smokers.
right. Oh.
The non-smokers, yes.
It's like, don't have someone smoking in a film that's not a smoker because it just doesn't look real.
Exactly. Oh dear. Oh dear. This is so over the top, it's brilliant. You can see all the slide lines, you know, from them practicing. Just from 10. It's just wild.
It's crazy good action in this.
See, the uniform cops get taken down so easily.
Of course they do, because they're only in uniform.
Yeah. It's like there's no superhero qualities to uniformed police. This reminds me a wee bit of the Police Story shootout in the shanty town. You know that moment at the opening of Police Story? Where you
before
have
they kind of roll down and blow the whole thing up. Yeah. Brittle, isn't it? Like, oh, nice. Whee! What a class.
She is fantastic.
Shit.
Proceed. Oh, yes.
Where were the flames?
So you know if you're ever going to join the police force in Hong Kong, don't wear a uniform.
No.
And you'll be safe.
Or just don't. Do you know what I mean? The violence is always quite realistic as well, you know?
Yeah.
We've become so conditioned to violence in film that is so quite, I guess, tempered in the sense that, you know, it's... there's not an awful lot of blood, or you know, you don't see the impact the way you would in a film like this. You know, this shows what it's like to actually be shot.
Yeah. Unfortunate. So she's obviously agreed to sleep with him just to relax the threat on her husband. Oh dear. He never has a cigar out of his mouth, does he? There you go. So he had tricked the husband earlier, and now she's, I guess, redeemed it. Cashed in his... Oh. Poor Carrie. Things are about to get a lot worse for her, though.
Oh dear.
I tell you. Idaho.
Oh, I thought it was an IDA.
No, it's Ida.
Oh, flip. Ida.
Idaho.
Is that actually the name of the character?
No.
Idaho? Oh my god, that would be hilarious.
Look at her, she's so dirty. That big stuffed animal. It's huge.
It's usually what I do in the moment. Oh, I need a new nose.
It's just wrong.
You know what I mean?
Honey.
He's called her honey about 5 times since he walked through the door.
Yeah. So there you go. I've paid off the debt, but he doesn't know, obviously, what she's went through.
She's paid it off.
Purry thing.
Not with money.
With honey. Oh, I believe you. No, you don't.
Honey. Do you prefer Canada to the US? Is that a serious question?
Canada.
I'm sure you like Canada more. I think that's what everyone would say.
Yep. How about this? No. Yeah, why all of a sudden? Can't remember why he wants to resign all of a sudden.
Probably because he thought that she was in danger with the gambling debts and stuff. No. He doesn't realise what she's had to do in order to get him. So he still thinks maybe he's a little bit unsafe.
Clear out.
Honey. Jesus Christ. Honey. Don't get mad at me, honey. I'd be like, seriously? I have a name. Please use it. I fucking hate nicknames.
Yeah.
Like baby, like honey.
Pet names.
Yes.
Pet names.
Think about it, honey. Yeah. Fuck me, who wrote this?
Lots of honey. honey. You fool, honey.
Honey! Oh. Jesus Christ! Honey! This is... Don't come out of there, honey! I can't cope with this at all! Oh my god, this is going to bother me so badly for the rest of the movie.
It's alright, he won't be around.
Oh, thank god, please kill him. Just... There should be a law against how many times you can use one word in the movie, right?
Honey.
Do you know what I mean? Honey?
Yes, smile, honey.
Oh, do you have any honey?
I do have honey. Good. Yeah, would you like some honey?
I'd love honey.
Okay, honey.
Oh, fucking nightmare, honestly. Awful.
So you see these big rocks on the side?
Mm-hmm.
They're there.
Landslides?
They're there. Because we were in certain streets in Hong Kong that I just thought, oh, these are actually this close in the city. You know, I thought there would be more out around the peak area and stuff, but there's quite a lot of rocky areas in Hong Kong. It's quite nice. Actually, it's a beautiful city.
Mm.
She just loves getting in on the action. Have you ever seen a more nosy or inquisitive cop?
Never.
Who just happens to turn up at the right time.
Most cops want to stay away
everywhere.
From the danger, right? Yeah. She's like, no.
You're pretty punctual. Thank you, honey.
Oh, God, no, please.
Oh, he's changed it to money.
He's changed it. Yeah, money. Yeah. There we go.
Money.
Honey to money.
Oh, dear. No. So, well, because he's already dipped his dick, he wants to get rid of the husband altogether now, and that means he can have...
Sawada doesn't sound like a...
It's very Japanese.
I was just about to say.
Well, maybe he is. I'm not too sure of the actor. Oh. There's another cigar in his mouth. See, he did...
At least he's not wasting that, which is good.
No, he's not doing anything with it by the looks of it. Oh dear.
Low. She scrumpled it up.
Yeah.
Oh, don't mess my hair, bitch. You touched my hair.
You're blocking my
Do you know how many people worked on this?
No.
Oh, don't talk about her naked body like that.
The big deal. Monday in Hiroshima. We'll have to watch that too sometime. So many.
There is a very similar pattern that runs through a lot of these films that we watch. It's always someone has the girl first, someone wants the girl back, or they, you know, they do all of this kind of stuff, and there's a big deal going on.
Of course,
you know, a big drug deal or gun deal or whatever.
It's almost like here's the bare bones of a story. Fill it out.
Yeah, it's like it's almost like
everyone has the same script, but they can just rewrite it in any way they want. Yeah.
Here's the Femme Fatale handbook on how to create a film, and you know, the only things that you need to do differently are cast different people and have the action be different.
It's very true, actually. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I suppose again in this time and era of Hong Kong filmmaking, you had the triad thrillers. The girls with guns. You had the martial arts action adventures like with Jackie Chan and whatnot, comedies, and you had the vampires and the horror element.
Yeah. Yes, of course. So you had
very similar genres that were constantly just reused and redone.
I do find that the horror films, especially Chinese horror films, are very different. The likes of Hex and they're all
from Western. You mean from Western movies?
No,
or?
from Eastern horror movies.
Eastern ones, yes. Yeah. Oh, they're all very different.
Oh yeah, they're so.
The Japanese one obviously are very based on the ghost.
Yes,
that element of it, the long hair. But yes, there's a lot of Hong Kong and Chinese horror movies that are wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Oh no.
Dear.
Oh, he's been shot.
Oh.
So sympathy's not really lasting very long because we gotta move on the story.
Yes, and some honey.
Oh, she's like, that didn't kill him, but the gun did.
At least we got to see it again.
Yeah, right.
Oh yes, okay. So they've knocked. Oh fuck! I can't watch. Jesus, I nearly threw up.
Oh here, no, watch it. You're gonna miss it.
Fuck off.
That's not fair.
It is fair.
It is.
Yeah,
oh, that actually looked real.
No, can't do it. So they've obviously.
See if you ever annoy me. I'm gonna carry a needle from now on, and when you scare me, I'm gonna.
Literally, they're the worst things in the world.
I'm gonna get it out. And I'm gonna
stick it up you.
Do you want to prick you with my prick?
Yes.
Dead bird. Oh, no,
they've gotten.
At least they know how to pick up a fucking gun properly.
Right,
I watched something last night and they picked it up with their bare hands, and I was like,
Twats.
"Are you actually joking me?" And this was like a film made in like 2005 or something. And I was like, "Oh, bloody hell!"
Yes.
So
They have Ida. They have Sharon taken hostage. They're drugged up, and shot her brother, Carrie's husband, with Ida's gun. So now they're putting her, framing her and putting her in a very difficult position, but at the same time they are going to pump as much heroin into her as they can. Which I think is one of the worst things that could happen to anyone. You know, that in any movie where
I watched I mean, that's like the Taken. You know, you watch that horrible scene where he finds his daughter's friend and she's dead after only being missing for 2 days of too much heroin. You know,
it's a hateful thought.
It's the most horrible thing to imagine. And even if you do manage to survive it, you could come out of it an addict.
Oh, without a doubt,
addict, you know? But yes, there's a like a continued principality through all of these films that it's kind of like keep it structured to a level that's coherent enough for someone to follow.
There is, but also
if it's not broken, don't fix it. So let's not try too hard to be different. Let's just try to be as good as.
Yes.
I think it's a common problem within Western films is that they always try to outdo each other. Every franchise is trying to outdo the next franchise. Is trying to outdo the next franchise. Every action film is trying to outdo another action film. In these films, there is a continued sense of, as you said, simplicity through it that makes them work, and it's kind of a sense of, you know what, these films work, they've been a success, let's not change them, let's just try and make them as equal as the last.
I think the main focus is on the action.
Yeah.
It's making the action different, it's making the stunts more impressive, and that's where the differences come in, as opposed to trying to outdo and make better through story and whatnot. It's the action. But then again, you know, that's where the likes of Iron Angels, Royal Warriors with Michelle Yeoh, things like that differ because they offer a bit more of a different storyline. You know, there is a difference to those ones that stand out. The Inspector's Worst Skirts series, things like, because they again went down a different route altogether. There's Dick Wei.
Look at the legs on him too.
He is one of the best hard-ass villains of Hong Kong cinema. He was the pirate in Project A.
I love that movie.
And as well as Jesus, I would imagine more than over 100 titles. I actually have a video there. I'll try and remember the title of it, with him and Richard Norton. Like a war movie with him and Richard Norton in it. Don't think I can see it, so I can't remember. But yes, he's a fantastic fighter. And again, in a host of different things. Like, But you always know if your bad guy for the end fight is Dick Wei, Billy Choi, or you know you're in for a good time. And he's also I must watch Pedicab Driver with you with Sammo Hung because
yes, I don't know.
Incredible stuff with him and Dick and Sammo, Dick Wei, Billy Choi again, just blattering the hell out of each other. It's brilliant. Oh, here. This is this is leading to one of those moments where you're just like, what the hell's going on and why did he get away with us?
Of course it is.
Of course it is. Here we go.
Jesus.
Wet. Shocking. I think there's a pterodactyl on the roof.
I think it's the neighbours going into their shed there. So I have words.
Yes, so obviously he's now got her in his hands. He doesn't care what he does to her, and
yes, abusing his power.
Oh fuck!
Who licks an eyeball and then
licks their wound? It's not the only thing. What do you see?
Oh my sweet! Oh, here, this is quite brutal.
Let's just say this is just a real kind of shock moment.
Is he gonna?
He is.
Flush her and then.
I can't even. No, I'm gonna leave it as a surprise. What he's gonna do to her. She's a brave girl. Like this Carrie is an actress who's been through.
Oh my god.
Bad stuff, like, to make for the sake of entertainment. This isn't entertaining in any respect, but
no, not watching a woman getting pissed on.
No, he didn't even wash his hands.
He did not. That acid Hallion. This is why coronavirus spreads.
Oh, he just flicked it in her face there. Did you see that? Dirty bastard.
Oh my god. Ew. I'd be like, get me into the shower,
Chico's going to piss on her as well now. No, she's not. She's obviously going to put her in a wee
shed.
A wee prison shed where she finds
the dead body of her husband.
Or
a gun. Clearly a lot of shit above her because she's looking up. I don't know how she would even smell a dead body covered in piss like that. Sharon.
Yeah.
Dear Christ!
On a bike. She looks a bit rough, eh?
She don't have. She looks like a ghost.
Doesn't she?
Ew!
Oh, she's dripping in piss.
Oh, she's dripping in piss and she's a heroin addict and they're hugging each other. It's like
sweating.
God,
she's probably sweating.
She probably is. They're probably torturing her with it, injecting her with it, and then leaving her for long enough to have certain withdrawals. And
that's what I mean. They're making her into an addict. I mean, they could have killed her off, just to be, But because she killed her brother, because Sharon killed Alan Choi, brother Y to Michiko, she's just having fun with her.
Mealtime, Jesus! I want to play a special game with you today.
And now we're getting the twisted kind of character of Michiko that she kind of became renowned for as this.
Okay, so she's begging for it now. She's at the point where she wants this.
Yeah.
In the space of 5 minutes, that's quite an amazing.
Well, about 5 days.
I know. Well, yeah,
I'm
5
joking
minutes,
and joking.
I
know what. 5 days, I think, is about then as fast. I mean, even her wounds kind of healing. But might have been the piss.
Okay.
Oof. Dear.
I mean, that was pathetic.
Oh.
Well, she can still kick.
She can.
She's being abused left, right, and centre.
I know. That's what I say. There's some roles where, some movies, where Carrie's roles are very questionable. And it's the same with, like Nina Lee Chi, and that their characters have been slapped about and beaten.
Oh, look at the tracks on her arms, my God.
Oh, fuck. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, it actually genuinely looks legitimately real.
Why do they need to stick it in?
Because that's how you inject yourself.
I know, but they could do it off camera.
I love that there's something that I can actually sit through that you can't. It's hilarious.
I'm fine cutting people in half and heads off. And
so am I.
Mutilating.
Well, sorry.
I mean, in the movie.
Yes. Was that just an admission?
When I'm making the movie, that's okay. It's different. But when it comes to that, a needle just does it. That's something I will never write into a movie. And if I did, I couldn't. Actually, I couldn't. Get out of here! Oh.
Yeah, she's just got her head, so she's back on top here.
She is. Oh, come on.
Carrie, come on. You can do better. We've seen you doing better.
Carry Ida out with you.
Good one. I mean, it's an odd question, but this kind of, it's another very recurring theme, and I know we kind of talked about this before, but I needed a little bit more clarification on it because it wasn't really sitting well with me, is the treatment of women in Asian films.
Oh,
I mean, what?
Carrie just got a knife in the spine.
She did not.
Yeah, she did.
Oh no. She dead?
She's dead. She is dead.
Is she?
Yeah. Give it a wee moment. There you go.
Yeah, that death lurch. Yeah,
yes.
The treatment of women. I mean, men get it too, but you would not see anybody over here doing that in a mainstream or even really.
Oh, you could. Could you imagine that?
Oh, I know, but it's a very common thing within these films for women to be used and abused, and not out of shot, not out of sight.
Oh no, it's brutal.
It's part of the movie, you know, that and the realism, because this really happens to men and women all over the world.
Yep.
You know, where they are treated in this way. But is there something about Asian cinema? Oh,
I'm just checking the time. I can't even see the time anymore.
Is there something about it that...
I don't think there's something about it. I think it's just they get away with it.
Yeah.
I think... again, as I said before, if you're a cop, you're a cop. If you're a gangster, you're a gangster. If you're, female or male, it doesn't matter. You're going to get treated the same way. But in terms of the love interest or somebody that's just a side character that, and is innocently involved in something, yes, there is more of an abusive approach to it. But I think more so because here in the West, and especially in the UK, when it comes to television and film, you wouldn't get away with it.
No way, you certainly wouldn't.
There's too many powers there. There's, the BBFC are relentless.
Yeah, they are relentless, aren't they? I mean, I can't imagine this getting anything lower than an 18 in the UK,
Oh, God. I mean, it hasn't had a release as far as I'm aware. But also, I mean, well, here's an example, like Battle of the Dome, my zombie movie that didn't have any less score than a lot of horror movies that get a 15.
Yeah.
But because we said or used the word cunt once in it, they told me that's why it got an 18.
Yeah.
And then a year later, something kick-ass comes out.
Yes, and has Chloe Grace Moretz in it.
Over
the child,
and it gets a 15 and much more violence than I was given. Mine was very obviously not cartoony violence or comic book violence, but it was obviously not real with zombies. Yeah. Whereas theirs was very real in terms of violence, and the language was atrocious. So they got a 15, but I couldn't afford to pay off the BBFC to allow me to have a 15 for a bigger audience. Then again, I wasn't going nationwide with it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, how many films would tackle this approach to within an action film? You know, the come down, you know, and the off drugs, you know, things like that. There, you know, it's such a
you wouldn't
different
see it
way
often. Yeah.
No, it's not a common thing to see someone in relapse, you know, or
Fighting it.
Yeah. Trying to be, you know.
No, you wouldn't actually in a Western. I mean, you probably see it in a TV show, but not
rehabilitated.
In a movie.
No, yeah, it would need to be like a very dramatic television show for you to see someone going through a rehabilitation process because they want to play it more serious, probably than this would be. But it's still quite harsh watching that kind of struggle of the pain, the suffering, you know, the need to have something that you've been forced to do. You know, it's.
No, it's different, but you know, it's something that also, this is, to many people, Angel Terminators isn't a great movie on a technical level, and it's very over the place. You know, it's like police thriller, you know, martial arts action, and then you've got this whole moment here, and you know, it's kind of like up and down in terms of storytelling
and tone.
Yeah. So it doesn't appeal to the Western audience so much because of that mess. If this was to get released here on video in the in the 90s when it was released, it would have been cut to have a bit more of a it would have been cut to be an action movie then. You know what I mean? So there would have been a lot of things.
Yeah, they'd probably cut out 12 minutes just to keep it all action based and cut out the heroin.
Because it's running at like an hour and 45 or something. Yeah, so it's a lengthy movie for an action film, you know, for a martial arts thriller. But this is why, because there is other little elements in it. But
add to the humanity of the project.
Yes, having watched Hong Kong movies for 35 plus years, I am used to seeing such blends of genres, mixtures of storytelling.
Here's the thing: life is not streamlined.
Exactly. This is has a more of a realistic, reversed,
Yes, it's certain. Life is not a straight. We don't live life in a streamlined fashion. We live life very disjointedly. So incorporating that into a film will be hard for people in the space of an hour and 42. It's going to be hard for anyone to kind of comprehend the kind of time that's passed, or you know, the relevancy of certain things, or why there's deviations from it, because you're condensing weeks into hours. But like I said, it can lead to a much more authentic experience, because you know that life is not as streamlined as what it's made to look in a film that has to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. This hasn't really had any of the three. It has no kind of streamlined process to it.
No.
But it works.
This is common for a lot of Hong Kong movies, and something that inspired my layout of Battle of the Bone. There was no focus. My main characters really didn't come into it until half an hour later or something. You know, there was no major ABC formula as such, but that's because I was used to seeing that, and you know, for me it was an exciting and different way to approach it. But you know, I'm used to it. The Hong Kong audience are used to it. A lot of other people are used to it, but the mainstream Western audience would break it down and destroy it because of that, you know.
And some tough love there from Cara.
Oh, oh, jeez. Didn't take them long fighting her.
It did not, sure didn't. My God. But again, how much time has elapsed here?
Exactly.
You know, it's.
And again, you know, had this film.
Cara's kind of getting her moment.
Not even that. Yes, finally, not even so much the action, but just the layout. If it had had a stronger director behind it, I say, while it's not a strong director, he's an okay director, but you know, this is a big project, I think, for what it wanted to tell, and I think if it had a stronger script and director, it would have been perhaps an absolute classic of Girls with Guns.
Yeah, there's certainly a much longer, more humane story to tell there in places. But I think sometimes where a lot of action films feel, certainly in a long form format, miniseries, limited series, or a longer film, those kind of moments would work a lot better. But sometimes I think it's always better to keep away from those kind of elements and focus solely on what your movie is to be, and that's an action film.
Yeah.
As much as you appreciate the realism behind the fact that these things happen in real life, people are abused, they get addicted to drugs, they have to be rehabilitated before they're able to really act again. Is that just going straight through him?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. And that's just going straight through him. Wow. It's still no less entertaining for what it does. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, no, that's you can't deny that there's a lot going on here. I mean, this is probably the 5th or 6th
fight scene.
Big fight scene.
Yeah.
It's not even small scuffles. Team up. Yay!
Colours come back into her face like that.
Yeah.
Fighting off with Michiko.
Nice. So part 2, although not gonna fuck, that was sore.
Look painful.
Jesus. Yeah. Part 2, although not connected, is I think a much stronger project. There's a higher sort of, not majorly, but a higher production value about it. There's a bit of a stronger script, and then you have a better production team behind it as well. I think some of the, like, Jackie Chan's stunt team guys are involved and things like that, so you'll see quite a difference, and that's what kind of makes Angel Terminators 1 for me stand out a wee bit different, because it is its own kind of breed. There's there is a roughness to it, and it does sort of stand out as its own wee movie.
So even though they know her fingerprints weren't on the gun and everything, she's worried to come back because she'll be taken off the case, the state she's in, while the investigation is going forward.
It's still
she feels like she has a vendetta to...
Yeah, it's up to her to sort it out, really. Which is just good old-fashioned action thinking, action movie thinking. I was just talking about Carrie getting stabbed, yeah. I love how they use their real names.
I know, it's something that I'm really noticing, that they tend to use the real, apart from Ida.
Yeah, interestingly,
and
yeah.
Hung. She's called Hung.
Her Chinese name is Hung Ha. I'll get it. But yes, it is. It is there. Yeah, Dick's character is quite a random addition, to be honest. There's 20 quid. Go and get yourself a bar of chocolate. I do like Ken as an actor. I have to say he's definitely got a bit of a charm, and on-screen charm.
I can never get my money to fan like that. Usually because I never have enough.
I was going to say, yeah, well, and also you need to iron it.
Oh, is that why? I'm not good with the iron, I must say.
Have you ever met a girl with so many
fingers?
Different pairs of gloves?
I know, but that's cool.
Oh,
ouch.
Jesus.
Yeah, that does hurt, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Nothing worse than getting a burning bit of ash on your finger.
I know, right? But what you're saying with her again here is this real rough and quality about her, that she's not afraid to do anything.
Yeah.
You know, like I couldn't imagine any Western actress putting in the work and the effort that she's doing through any of her fight scenes.
But it's something that I don't think that we're being exposed to very much in terms of what we're actually seeing. So we're getting the behind the scenes things, but we don't quite know exactly how much work and effort's going into it. You know, we know that there's months of prep and training.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
a lot of these women are actual trained martial artists prior to becoming movie stars, which certainly helps. Nice.
Beautiful
which
shot.
certainly helps the certainly helps in this kind of situation. Whereas we're not seeing the effort and the time that goes into training an American actress to be able to fight. And that is a letdown on Hollywood, you know, because do they want to ruin the illusion that sometimes an American actress can't always do her own stunts? Not every Asian actor and actress can do their own stunts either. You know, there are times whenever they have to be doubled also. But if they put us into a situation where we can where we can see really what they are doing, I think we would have a better level of appreciation and gratitude for women in Hollywood who do put themselves in situations that we think that they don't. You know, Tom Cruise gets all this praise for attaching himself to an airplane, but Angelina Jolie has done many things herself. Charlize Theron has put herself through many things, you know, and as has the cast of the 355 coming up, you know. So, you know, is it something that...
But the thing is, with these guys, for me, there is that realism to it.
Of course there is, yeah.
Such a painful grittiness. I mean... Because
they're actually being kicked and hit, you know, and thrown across rooms.
And smashed through furniture.
With no...
No, but there's a physical approach to this that you don't see in the West, you know?
No.
I mean, Dick Way's not... Yes, he's a fantastic martial artist and actor, but he also trained the army. He's not someone that looks like he's going to hold back too much from hitting you, you know?
No, exactly.
Especially when he's used to taking on men most of his roles. Although in Princess Madam, I think he does get to take on Yeung Pan and Moon Lee, which is fun. This is crazy shit. Like, I mean, again, it's what gives Yeung Pan makes it her movie.
Yeah.
Which it is. Ultimately, it is.
Gets to the edge over
Cara. Yeah.
Nice. She actually had that well figured out. Lean forward into a downward.
Yeah.
That's sensible, really.
Watch this is your big ending.
Was this the big ending? Christ! Bob, did she actually really just jump onto a wire? Good God. No! No! Why? Ouch.
He's like...
No, I'm sorry. You've just been shot in the chest. Like,
doesn't matter. It's Hong Kong. What a closing shot. And then it goes into widescreen. So we know what we've missed a wee bit there, you know, so if we get the Blu-ray, it's going to look even better.
What a finale.
Isn't it? So a bit of a shorter end fight between Dick Way and the girls, unfortunately. But Angel. But, I mean, it does kind of leave a memorable ending to it.
Oh, it does. That is.
As wild as it was, but it was quite...
you don't get films that end on such savagery and brutality as that. You know, killing off their leading lady in the last moments. Well, what a fantastic film choice, George. Thanks so much for that. It was
just
film.
a bit different. In terms of the Girls with Guns genre, it's a bit different because it...
Which we're going to continue.
We are going to continue.
We're going to do more.
We are. But because, yes, we talked about them all having the same kind of blueprint, but this one for me has quite a different feel to it overall.
It did.
So it does. And just in time, our
was
battery's
a nice
about to go.
Well, there we go. Well, guys, thanks so much. I think this is literally an ending. So thanks so much for watching, and join us next time.
Next time?
Yeah.
For probably Angel Terminators 2. We might as well
keep it going.
All right. Thanks very much.
Sharon.
Sharon.